Good day and welcome to today's news bulletin read by myself, Nonphilflix, right here on your favorite home of black entertainment. And in your headlines today, SASSA official in court for allegedly using fake matric certificate. A Free State man in court for allegedly using a woman as sex slave for about 2 months. Julius Malema, former youth president of the ANC, turns 40 years old today. Scopa wraps PRASA for 28.6 billion in irregular expenditure. ENCA says it will remain committed to ensuring staff is well aware of racial issues at work. And lastly, South African celebrities and some spicy gossip. Welcome to your news bulletin. Let's get straight into it. A SASSA official in court for allegedly using a fake matric certificate to get a job. SASSA official in Mpumalanga has been seen in court after lying about his qualifications and also received about 4 million rand over the past 14 years. Alina Dimakazo Selepe was released on bail by the Mbombela Magistrate Court 2 days ago after she was arrested by the Hawks' Serious Corruption Unit. Moving on to our second story. A Free State man in court for allegedly keeping a woman as a slave for 2 months. Keeping a woman as a sex slave for 2 months, a man has appeared in court over charges of keeping a woman as a sex slave. He is also said to have collected money in return from her having sex with different men that he had booked for her. Justice Ikachu, aged 37, appeared in the Bloemfontein court 2 days ago. Justice is said to have asked the girl to be his girlfriend, promising her all her heart's desires. Once she visited him at his home, he then took her as a hostage and used her as a sex slave for about 2 months. She later escaped after being held by one of the men who slept with her. He then gave her 350 and that helped her flee her abuser. Former ANC youth president Julius Malema turns 40. Founder and president of the political party EFF, Julius Malema, is turning 40 today. The former youth president turns 40, celebrating the big day with his friends, family, politicians, and of course, celebrity friends. One being singer and songwriter Ringo Mantlingozi. What a lucky man. Ringo is said to have closed down the party after his performance. Happy birthday. Scopa wraps PRASA over 28.6 billion in irregular expenditure. In Cape Town, the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa, otherwise known as PRASA, came under fire for lacking urgency in disciplining officials responsible for irregular expenditure of about 28.6 billion rands. This emerged when PRASA was grilled about the investigations concluded by Special Investigating Unit, also known as SIU, and the Hawks when it appeared before the Standing Committee on Public Accounts, also known as SCOPA. Moving along to our next story, ENCA says it remains committed to doing everything possible to ensuring the staff is aware of racism. Yesterday in Hyde Park, the ENCA said it remains committed to ensuring their staff is always aware of racism around them. They remain committed in shaking up the business to transform and to make sure that the staff is always alert about everything that transpires in the country, especially racism at the workplace. And now for some entertainment and gossip stories from South Africa's celebrities. Master KG, the maker of Jerusalem, sold out a concert in Ethiopia and left him in his feet. Jerusalem hitmaker Master KG had the time of his life on stage in Ethiopia after being stuck at home during the prime of his music career thanks to COVID-19. Jerusalem hitmaker Master KG is finally traveling the world and celebrating selling out shows. After waiting a while to have his passport stamped, thanks to COVID-19 travel restrictions, Master KG recently began accepting international gigs and traveling to other countries to finally witness the powerful effect Jerusalem has abroad. The musician recently took to Twitter to share the news that he had sold out a show in Ethiopia and shared amazing visuals from there. He also said big shout out and thanks to all his fans for showing up, and he hopes that he can make more hits. And of course, our next story talking about being a billionaire. This is the man who likes making the guap. We're talking about Casper Nyovest. Casper wants to know if Malema can predict if he'll be a billionaire. Rapper Casper Nyovest has taken to Twitter to remind fans that he's still on track to becoming South Africa's first hip-hop billionaire. In this week's episode of his Road to Billionaire status, the musician called on EFF leader Julius Malema to spill the tea on his future. The politician had tongues wagging after he successfully predicted the lockdown would move from adjusted level 3 to level 1. Taking to Twitter before the president announced the change on Sunday, Malema said he could smell SA going level 1. After the announcement by President Cyril Ramaphosa, Malema headed to the timeline to give a whole "I told you so." Casper was watching Malema's prediction and jokingly asked for his advice. "Am I going to be a billionaire or not, Grootman? Can you smell it?" asked Casper. Fans weighed in on Casper's request, predicting coins in his future and calling him Elton Musk Nyovest. That's all we had time for. Hit us up on our social pages if you have any news or comments or would like to comment on our segments. Your interaction with us is highly welcome. Keep well till our next news broadcast. That's all from myself, Nonphilflix, right here from Johannesburg, South Africa. Take care.
Hello there guys, welcome to the news on Nonphilflix. Here are some stories making headlines on the shores of Nigeria. The first batch of about 3.94 million doses of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccines from India has landed in Nigeria. According to the Executive Director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Faisal Shuaib, after clearance by the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC), frontline health workers and support staff will be vaccinated in the first phase. Phases 2, 3 and 4 will target the elderly, those who suffer from 2 or more diseases, and citizens between the ages of 18 and 49 respectively. NAFDAC will begin analyzation of the vaccines on Wednesday and Thursday, while the campaign is expected to begin on Friday. Meanwhile, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 has said that Nigerians under the age of 18 years will not receive COVID-19 vaccines in the country. According to the Minister of State for Health, Olorunimbe Mamora, the federal government plans to cover 70% of Nigerians within 2 years. He further warned that private organizations were not permitted to procure, distribute, and administer coronavirus vaccines until further notice. In the last couple of weeks, suspected hoodlums and brigands in the northern region have been impounding food trucks, making their way down Nigeria's south in what has been labeled a reprisal move, as ethnic tension stemming from a recurring farmers-herders crisis engulfs Africa's most populous nation. Trucks laden with cows and perishable items like onions, pepper, and tomatoes are now getting impounded along the Ilorin-Jeba Expressway and around the Kwara-Benue borders, with the drivers handing marching orders to head back north. The south of Nigeria mostly depends on the north for its food, but the farmer-herders crisis is driving a wedge through that business relationship. Moving on, the 317 schoolgirls abducted from the government girls' secondary school in Jangebe in Talatu Mafara local government area of Zamfara State on the 26th of February have now been released. In a series of tweets from the official account of the Zamfara State Governor, Bello Matawale, their release was confirmed, dispelling confusions over the release of the schoolgirls during the weekend. There's been a wave of abductions targeting school children in Nigeria since over 200 schoolgirls were kidnapped from Chibok, Borno, in northeastern Nigeria in 2014. In a quiet development, persons at the magistrate court sitting in Abuja got a shock upon seeing an unidentified man dressed as a traditional doctor in the premises. The man, clad in the traditional attire, was said to be in company of Revolution Now convener Omoyele Sowore, allegedly to demonstrate his support. He has since cleared the air, enjoining Nigerians not to look down on African traditions, cultural beliefs, and fashions, and to do away with the notion that foreign culture is better. And sadly, the Emir of Zazzau, Alhaji Shehu Idris, one of the country's most influential traditional leaders, has passed away. The Emir died at a military hospital in Kaduna at the age of 84. The remains of the monarch have been laid to rest at his palace in Zaria, besides some past emirs of the emirate. The late monarch was the 18th emir of Zazzau and the chairman on the Kaduna State Council of Chiefs. Shehu Idris was coronated emir of Zazzau on the 15th of February 1975 and ruled Zazzau Emirate for 45 years before his death. That wraps up our package for today. Do join us next time for more. My name is Valerie Elibe, and joining you to practice safe distancing.